Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. This week, your key to the week is the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man has been very active this week for the key to the week and also throughout the cards. And what this makes me wonder is, on the wider world stage, I do feel like we're going to see somebody hung out to dry. Whatever the reasoning behind it is, I'm not 100% sure. I have some ideas. I do feel like it's likely to be a religious leader of some sort, or there's likely to be something that comes out about a spiritual leader and or guru. And when it comes, I think we are all going to be maybe not surprised, but certainly kind of miffed over whatever it is that comes up. Now, that being said, on a more personal level, this is a week for you to take it easy. Remember, this card is Pisces energy. It is Neptune, but it is Piscean energy, which is the direct opposite to you in the zodiac. And so when this card comes up for Virgos, I'm always reminded of the dichotomy. This week, it's really about maintaining and clearing up your spiritual or your inner world rather than your external environment. In all of these sort of areas of your life as well, you might benefit in that way. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and options this week, you have the Ace of Wands. So this can be a very creative time for you, and for a lot of you this might be where you're dreaming up ideas for video content. If you do this kind of work, this could be a very powerful creative drive, especially if you're thinking about doing a podcast, some form of radio, or exploding or exploring, putting something out into the world of a creative nature. This could be a great week for it. I do feel like a lot of you are coming up with podcast ideas, maybe even blogs for a select few of you, and I kind of feel like the work that you do this week is probably going to take on a bit more of a spiritual dynamic to it, which, you know, could be absolutely brilliant, especially because when we allow the spiritual sort of energy to inform our work, we tend to get way more creative with it, right? Rather than when we've just come from the mind sort of space. This does tell me as well that a lot of you are getting very active about your spiritual maintenance, but more importantly, your spiritual cleanliness, which is really important, especially as we step into 2023. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Queen of Swords. So you've got this with the Hanged Man. I'm going to be really honest with you. I do feel like someone's going to try to incite some drama this week, and it's really important that you hold the line and say, you know what, I'm not getting into that. One of the things I actually love about Virgos, like, you're very good at defending yourself if need be, but you won't get into it like unnecessarily, which I think is actually a very good trait to have. However, some of the conversations that you're having this week may be about closing things up, closing loops, releasing or getting rid of certain connections. So just keep that in mind, all right? Now, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, choose your battles wisely. This may not necessarily be the right week for it, especially with that Queen of Swords as well. If the information that you uncover this week, and I do feel like that's the case here, it's like some piece of information, some tidbit of info that finds you, it's almost like you're looking at this and you're like, wow, this is a really important piece of information that I have here. And you might feel like this is enough ammunition. Potentially, remember Mars is retrograde at this moment in time, so it's probably not the right time to use the ace up your sleeve. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, again, if you're planning to raise issue, like if you have to talk up about something to defend yourself, absolutely go for it, but pick your moment, all right? Like, this may not necessarily be it, and so you might have to sit on some piece of knowledge or some piece of information that you have for a better time to utilize it. For those of you that are self-employed, business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, especially here with the Ace of Wands, this could be some conflicting idea or timing issue with a client, maybe a fellow business owner. There's something here about a time constraint, and it's causing unnecessary friction. You can assert yourself and you would be in the right to do so. However, if you find a more diplomatic solution to this, I think you'll get a lot more out of it. So really, this is a week to really look at your commitments and look at your timing if you're a business owner, because it might be that somewhere you've overlooked what's going to be possible and what isn't. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, I think this is about building creative arguments, all right? So what I mean by this is there's something that's going to come up for debate this week, and I kind of feel like your stance on it, like maybe you have a really strong held belief. This week, it's like you're going to need to find things that back that up. So this is, I mean, you guys are phenomenal research people. Like if you want research done, the people that I would usually go to would be Virgos, Scorpios, definitely, Capricorns, absolutely, and believe it or not, Cancerians. If you want research done, those 4 signs, and probably Librans as well, all signs are good at this in their own ways, but if you want that good stuff, like that depth, those are the signs that I would personally turn to. This week, you could kind of go down that, right? And it's like you're gathering information on something potentially at a later date to destroy some other person's argument. You know, I've seen Virgos give a thorough dressing down and it's not pretty. With that said, before we get into your love and relations, if you haven't got your winter solstice seat yet, what are you waiting for? You can get yours on the link in the description box below. Tickets are £33.33. I have 2 special guests for you this year. We're going to be talking astrology, numerology. We're going to be using the magic of the solstice itself, which is the actual time to be setting your New Year's resolutions and intentions for the year ahead. Also, we'll be culminating this session with a future life progression so that you can have a look at what 2023 looks like for you personally. Now, that being said, I've put this on now. This would be the 5th year that I'm running this event, and that to me is just amazing that something that I've created is you know, out there and doing so much wonderful work. It would be amazing to have you there. If you want to get your seat, you can do so on the link in the description box below. Check out my socials for posts on what we're going to be doing and, you know, little tidbits, and for information on who my 2 guests are. We'll also be talking about the human design as well. For your love and relations, you have the 10 of Swords. I don't think this is an end to a relationship. I actually don't, even though it's the 10 of Swords. What I do feel like it is this is potentially you and a partner having a conversation. This is you and a partner having a final conversation on something that has been an issue up until now. So it's like, I kind of feel like this is one of those things, like, you know, as a couple, when you go through a really rough patch and you come out of it, and then right at the end you have like one final stonking blowout, and then after that it's like, okay, we've cleared the air. I don't have anything left to say on this. I'm guessing you don't. And you kind of look at each other. It's like a newfound sense of respect, even if it bruises a little, right? This kind of feels like that kind of week to me. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is because you are ready to move on now. And it kind of feels like because you and your partner are having, like, it's a hard conversation, but it's a very healing one because it brings a finality or a completion to an issue that you've had in the relationship, not necessarily the relationship itself. So you are moving beyond this, but it's in a way that is potentially a little bit explosive. Remember what I said to you about the Hanged Man, all right? Like this, it's a week to kind of take it slow, all right? So digest what's being said to you rather than just waiting for your moment to speak. When it comes to those of you that are single, I mean, on a more spiritual level, I think for a lot of you, you could be getting a much clearer understanding of where you're at within your relationship sector. And I think for a lot of you, it may be a week where you kind of realize, okay, you know what, I've thrown myself into work to ignore this, but I'm actually ready to address it now. For your money and materials, you have the Emperor. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, your significant other could be getting a boost to their finances. They may have a challenge come up that you need to assist them with, which is possible. It may even for some of you be a legal situation. And it's really weird because the feeling that I'm getting from this is, it's like there's money that's coming to you, but there's paperwork that needs to be signed in order for that money to be released to you. So if you're waiting for money, for funds, for an inheritance or whatever, this could be the week where you're signing the paperwork or the documents to have those funds kind of funneled or released to you. So, you know, that's actually really great. For a select few of you, I wouldn't be surprised if you are sort of, you know, especially if you work for somebody else or as part of a team, you could be thrust into the leadership position this week and find, actually, you know what, I really like this. And because I really like it, I think I want to do more of it later on. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, especially with these cards, your mind could really be very busy this week. And obviously when the mind is so busy, the body tends to take the brunt of it. So be careful with your health this week. And then finally, when it comes to the home and the environment, for a lot of you, this could be talks and considerations about paperwork to do with the home. I do have to say this is not a good week to initiate building a home or, you know, setting those kinds of things into motion. This is not the right moment for it, okay? So just be mindful and careful around this, all right? With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. It would be fantastic to see you at the winter solstice. Drop a comment on the drop a comment in the comment section. Take care, and I'll see you soon.